Next one is from Rachel, who's mum of Grace, 5 years old, and she's from Edinburgh in Scotland. I like knowing where people come from. I love traveling. It's one of my absolute loves in the world. So when I hear from different people from different countries, it's just so exciting. Okay, she wants to know about her child that won't speak to adults. So she says, Grace chats non-stop at home and with her cousins, but if another adult speaks to her, she completely freezes. She won't answer even simple questions like, "What's your name?" People think she's being rude, and I worry they're judging her and me. Why won't she speak? Okay. Um, this actually reminds me of my granddaughter Mia. She's 8 and she's a super, super confident little girl, but the minute she meets a new adult, she'll like hide behind me or behind her mom, and then you can't even get her to say hello, or she just, okay. So this is not about her being rude, and I think try not to worry about what other people think because when we constantly worry about what other people think, it's not helpful. You know, who cares what other people think? They don't live in your head, they don't live in your brain, they don't live in your body. And I think we spend too much time worrying about what other people think about us. And I'm speaking from experience when I say this. And, we worry about other people judging us, and it stops us from being ourselves, and it puts unnecessary pressure and anxiety on us. So take that pressure and anxiety off of yourself and take it off of Grace. She's only 5 years old. And I know that a lot of people tend to judge children when they don't, they'll think, oh, your daughter's not having, she doesn't have good manners, therefore the mom is not teaching her good manners. So we worry about that whole judgment thing. Forget about them. You and your child are the most important people in your life, not other people, okay? And if you once you have a reason, you can just say, "Oh, she doesn't feel like talking today." Simple. Don't say things like, "Oh, she's just shy," or "She doesn't feel like talking." And that is okay. If she doesn't feel like talking, that's absolutely fine. So I think first of all, accept that this is just Grace. She clearly needs to be with people for a little bit longer to feel safe with them. So she doesn't automatically feel safe with adults or with adults she doesn't know. And that can be for a whole variety of reasons. It could be because she's learned about stranger danger and now she thinks all strangers are dangerous. It could be something that happened when she was little, when she felt unsafe with another adult. We don't know. We can't always know why children show up with their behavior shows up like this. We don't always know the reasons. We can only deal with what's happening in the present. And so it's very important to just accept that this is what Grace is like at the moment and then encouraging her, but not shaming her for it, not blaming her, not judging her, and not judging yourself. Because remember, if you judge yourself, she's going to pick that up as well because emotions are very transferable and we can feel other people's emotions. They don't even have to say anything, they're very transferable. So, whatever you want for Grace, want for yourself as well. It might just be a personality trait. A lot of children are shy. They feel more comfortable with their peers than they do feel with adults. So, what I would do is just let her be. Let her be who she is, and you can encourage her and say, "Do you want to say hello to Auntie May, or do you want to say hello to Uncle Joe, or whatever?" And she goes, "No," and then you just go, "Okay, well then off you go and play." Give her that choice. And the other reason I'm going to say this is quite an important one, right? Is that in my era, we were forced to say hello to people and we were forced to hug them. And a lot of inappropriateness happened with children and adults because of that. I'm not saying don't encourage your children to hug people, but what I'm saying is if they don't feel comfortable doing it, don't make them do it because you've got to respect that they are setting their boundaries, and you want children to have boundaries. You want them to be able to tune into their own intuition and their own nervous system and not allow people into their space. Because if they're feeling, I don't want this person in my space, I don't want to engage with them, doesn't make them rude. It just makes their nervous system going, I don't feel safe with that person, or I don't know them well enough. And you'll sometimes find with children, the more they get to know somebody, they will then start engaging with them, unless that person never feels safe to them. So be curious around that. Don't be judgmental about it, and just allow her to be. Allow her to not say hello. Allow her to not engage with that person. If she doesn't feel like it, then she doesn't feel like it. She has set her boundaries, and just let her go off and play. I know this is quite a controversial response, but I think it really helps us to teach children, especially girls, that it's okay to set boundaries, to be assertive, to say no and say, I'm not comfortable interacting with that person. And you are going to teach her the greatest gift ever for when she grows up to be a young woman, being able to say no and to be assertive and to stand her ground. And that's not rudeness. It's not rudeness at all. Right. The next question is, this is from David, and he's dad of Lily, who's 4, from Birmingham in the UK. And he says he's worried about his child being clingy. He says, my daughter follows me everywhere, even to the bathroom. Sounds like my dog Leo. She cries if I leave the room and gets very upset if someone else tries to look after her, even family she knows well. Is this normal for her age, or should I be worried that she's becoming too dependent on us? Okay, so clinginess is often just is just often a child's way of saying that she doesn't feel safe enough to let go yet. So the behavior is a symptom, it's not the cause. And I mentioned in a separate video about children see themselves as part of their mums, especially up until the age of 4. They don't feel separate from the mum. They almost see them as the same person. It's quite interesting. And then they start separating, but they usually start separating at the age of 4. They then, you'll notice they're becoming their own little personalities, and they start being direct. They start saying things directly, very directly. Children don't have filters at the age of 4, which I love. And then adults usually go and mess it up by telling them that they're being inappropriate and that they need to be polite, and then they start questioning themselves. My advice, when you have a 4-year-old, allow them to just be as direct as they want to, because they're really coming into their own. They're starting to become independent and more autonomous of themselves. But some children take a little bit longer, and it sounds like Lily's just taking a little bit longer. It's not because um, there's something wrong with her, there's not something wrong with you. It just means that her development is taking a little bit longer than another child at her age. And just try and boost her confidence, validate. You can say to her, I can see you don't want to be alone, but daddy just needs to be alone a little bit in the bathroom right now. I'm going to be right back. So you're just constantly validating and reassuring her. Um, I know you don't want to be alone, but I need to be alone. I know you don't want to be there in the lounge, but I'm actually right next door. You can just shout and call me and I'll be there. So you're going to constantly validate. I can see you don't want to be alone. I can see this feels scary. Um, I sometimes get scared too, but you know what? You're okay. I'm okay. You just there. I'm over here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just in the next room. So if you just keep doing that, the most important thing is that she knows that it's okay to feel what she's feeling. And that's why you validate. You recognize the emotion and feeling. You help her to understand what that feeling is. You can say to her things like, do you feel scared when you're alone? Or it looks like you're scared when I leave you alone. Are you? And then you can also help her with like visual aids to show her what being scared looks like, and then attaching the word, because you want her to be able to speak the language of emotions. So she needs to see what it looks like, and she needs to know what that word is so that she can use it, that she can tell you in future why she doesn't want to be alone. So you point out the feeling, you then check with her and say, is that so? If she doesn't know, you can use a chart of emotion words. I've created one, so it shows you the word, it shows you what the emotion looks like, and she'll start recognizing. Humans will just inherently recognize the expression that they see on somebody else. It's like a, like a mirror effect. So help her with that. Help her to build her feeling vocab, but validate what she's feeling, accept that feeling, and then reassure. And the more she does this, and the more you do this together, the more confident she will become, and the more she'll feel safe to separate from you. And it might take 2 weeks, it might take another year, who knows? But just be gentle with her, be gentle with yourself, and just keep going, and it will eventually happen. I mean, some children co-sleep with their parents until late in life because it takes them that long to feel safe in their nervous systems. And it comes down to this whole anxious feeling again. It's like, will I be okay if daddy's in the bathroom and he's shutting the door? Am I going to be okay out here on my own? I don't feel safe. How will I know? So that's what's going on in her little mind. And you just want to keep reassuring her that she is going to be okay and that she is safe. You just behind the door. So, and by doing that, by saying to her, daddy's just going to be behind the door. I'm not going to be away from you, but I just need to go to the toilet and I need to go. You're also teaching her boundaries, because it's also important for children to eventually to self-soothe as well. But this is kind of a bridge into the self-soothing where you showing her, reassuring her that she's okay, and she'll get there. Okay, so if your child or you are struggling with anxiety and you just need a little bit of help and advice on how to cope with it, how to help your child with it, do submit your questions below. If you're not sure if it's anxiety, ask me that as well. And do look out for all those tools, those little short videos that I'm releasing every week that helps you with those tools. Incorporate them into your day, incorporate them into your life so it will calm your nervous system down, help your child's nervous system to calm down. And do check out the resources down below as well with the link where you can submit your question as well. You take care, and I will see you next week. Bye for now. Lots of love.